LMH and today we're going to have some fun in the kitchen as we're going to be making some puff pastry twists. If you like puff pastry as much as I do, then you can go ahead and click on the link above and see another puff pastry recipe that I did, pig in the blanket. That is so delicious. You are going to love it. Today's recipe is a favorite with children and adults all over the world. It's fun, it's whimsical, and it's delicious. So let's go over the ingredients. We have puff pastry. Now I always make my puff pastry from scratch, but you can also purchase the puff pastry from the frozen department. We have puff pastry. Now I always make my puff pastry from scratch, but you can also purchase the puff pastry from the frozen department in your supermarket. We have protein. Now today I'm using veggie links. I would have mixed them really finely and they're going to give a pop of flavor to our twist. So some veggie links finely minced. Some Parmesan cheese. This always adds an extra flavor. And an egg to use as an egg wash to cover our twist. Our first step is to roll out our puff pastry. So on a floured board, I'm going to use a rolling pin and we're going to roll it as flat as we can. And this will just widen our pastry before we go ahead and cut it. So this will take a couple of minutes. So we'll use some elbow grease now and we're going to flatten our puff pastry. This sometimes can be considered a difficult pastry to make, but I'm going to show you a completely separate video on how to make puff pastry. And I'll show you that it really can be quite simple. So we're going to roll it as flat as we can. Then I'll show you the next step. Our pastry is sufficiently flat, so now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to use a really sharp knife. You can also use a pizza cutter. And I'm going to try to make it really straight, just so we can get a nice clean lines. So I'm going to cut off all of these edges, just so we can get it nice and straight. Get these ones out of the way. And then I'm going to make some lines all the way down for our twists. Our stuff is done, so I'm going to sprinkle some of the hot dog or the veggie links, so this bit of the protein. I'm going to sprinkle it all over. Make sure every one of them has a bit of it. Then I'm going to add some of the Parmesan cheese all over our twists. Now we're going to cover it. Oops. Would have covered 5 of our twists so far. So we have puff pastry on the bottom, we have just a sprinkle of the Parmesan cheese and the protein on the inside, and puff pastry at the top. So what we're going to do, we're going to place them on a greased baking tray, hold the top and the bottom, and we're going to twist. And we twist it, and then we're going to put it down, and I'm going to press the bottom and the top to make sure it stays in position and it holds its shape when it's baking. And I'll do this for all of the others. So this one is stubborn. So we're going to press the bottom and the top. There you go, to make sure it stays in shape. Our twists are almost ready for the oven, so go ahead and preheat your oven to 250 degrees because we're going to be putting our twists in momentarily. So I'll take the egg wash and I'm using a pastry brush and I'm going to brush the egg wash all over the tops of our twist. This will help with that gorgeous color that we hope to get. It's a nice yellow because we would have used a bit of food dye in our pastry when we made it, but the egg wash on top of the pastry will brighten that color. It's going to be amazing. Then our twists will be ready to bake for 12 to 15 minutes. Our whimsical and fun puff pastry twists are done and they look like so much fun. You should always enjoy your food, so looking at it should bring something to you, some kind of enjoyment. Now it's time to taste. They're slightly warm, allow them to cool first. Now it's time to taste, and they smell good too. So good, so delicious, and so crunchy. This is a favorite with children and adults, as I said, all over the world, and it's perfect for parties and fun events. Puff pastry twist, now you need to try it.